Welcome to the Money GPS. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I know that we have seen a lot of information coming out, Russia, Ukraine, I got it. But where we should be keeping our focus here is on China. China is so important, not just what we're seeing here and now, but as we look into the near future. So we are going to have our focus on that today. The first thing I want to look at is what's going on with food prices. This is so key because it affects you and also those on the opposite side of the world as you. The second thing I want to look at is what's going on with China's lockdown. Very key. And the third thing is China's stock market that has been absolutely pummeled. Okay, timestamps down below, everything you need in this video. Let's begin. This is just to quickly mention the fact that apparently there has been progress in the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Some are saying, no, I'm not buying it. I'm just bringing this to you right now, and then we will move on because I just want to document that. What we are seeing with the food prices today is actually, no doubt, a record high. You can measure this in many different ways. This happens to be just one index, but look around. Food prices are skyrocketing everywhere, and we see what's going on with fertilizer as well. Fertilizer prices mean higher food price. If you see the price of fertilizer going up because of natural gas, because of other factors, of course, food prices are going to rise as well. Obstacles to supplies of Russian products will have grave consequences worldwide. That's according to Putin, saying, do not mess with the situation because it's going to have an impact. Look at what's going on, not just with the fertilizer I talked about a moment ago, but at the same time, logistics. Now, the whole world doesn't move its products through the Black Sea, but you need to know that this is still a big part of the trade for that area, and that affects places like Egypt, for example, and other places that are relying on the products coming from either Ukraine or maybe they're coming from Russia and other places that if they are disrupted, it's going to affect them. And then, of course, domino effect. It affects them, then it goes on and on and on. Here, this is just something to talk about the fertilizer. Brett Angelman says that he says as much as he wants to properly fertilize his almond crop. Increased prices likely won't allow for that this season. We may just take a year off and let the trees be the trees that they are, saying, okay, we're just going to see what happens. But of course, what does that do to the whole supply? You got less. Okay, that's just a matter of fact. So these people are unable to use the fertilizer that they did previously. Generally you get less yield. Depends on of course, on the crop and so on, but we will see. Russia is one of the largest producers of fertilizer in the world. As the country continues to invade Ukraine, farmers across the globe are seeing prices double and even quadruple. There's a good likelihood that there's just not going to be enough on the worldwide market. And what do you think is going to happen to food prices and availability? I keep telling people, have some extra food, have some storable food, and yet people just do not get it, okay? I know you do. I know you do. But I'm talking about the general public, okay? If you and I are on the same page, hit that thumbs up button, all right? Russia's invasion of Ukraine has rattled the global economy, creating a volatile stock market and sending oil and gas prices to unprecedented levels. High gas prices are in turn raising the price of fertilizer, which is crucial for the nutrients that in the crops of billions need to live. So this is unfortunately the situation, and they mention it right here. But problems were brewing even before the Ukraine situation, with fertilizer prices surging to historic highs because of higher input costs and supply chain issues. This just made it even worse. So we will see what happens, okay? This is literally the worst fertilizer situation in modern history in terms of supply before what's going on with Russia. Before. Now think about that. Intense, right? Okay. Now we're going to start turning the page here. We're going to look at the whole thing with Russia as well, but I'm going to start folding in China. Russia seeks military equipment and aid from China, according to U.S. officials. So I'm going to put that mention right there, according to U.S. officials. We don't know what to believe. But as they say right here, according to the spokesman from the Chinese embassy in Washington, he said, I'm not aware of that. So we don't know what to believe. I just wanted to show you that China has such a deep involvement in what happens here because they seem as an adversary to the United States. We know that. And they seem very friendly to Russia. So we know, the way that the game is working here. At the same time, we've got the financial aspects that I want to cover as well. So this is just the FT article. And by the way, multiple US outlets put this information out into the news at the exact same time. So there was a coordinated effort. Now that does happen, okay? If you look at what happens, in the newsrooms, this is the way it is. Information comes from the top, and then they say, you can release it at this particular time and date. So, we don't know whether it's propaganda or not, but we'll see. Foxconn halts iPhone Shenzhen site due to lockdowns. Here we are again. This, imagine, I think it's 12 million or something. Millions and millions of people now on lockdown again. I think they might mention it here, but just like right there. 17.5 million people are now in lockdown. What does that mean? Again, hitting the growth, hitting the production, this logistics, supply chain problems. This is a big city. It's a big city in China. It's a big city globally. Just think about that. And so, who cares about, iPhones and stuff, but just understand that there's a lot that is produced here. There's a lot that's produced here. And if you've got these restrictions and lockdowns and things, are we entering into the same situation again? And I'm looking right now, I have it just off the screen here. Hong Kong stocks dropped 4%, and it was worse at one point, 4%, because I believe the suggestion is, what if we're going into 2020 yet again with the lockdowns and everything? This is just showing you VTB Bank offering Chinese yuan savings account with a maximum interest rate of 8% as the Russian lender faces strict sanctions in the US and UK in a push to financially isolate Russia through widening penalties. So you can see the link in between Russia and China right now. They're trying to get, this to be stable in between the two. China doubles yuan trading, yuan trading band for ruble after record move. Trading limit raised to 10% from 5% from March 11th. Trade between Russia and China was $112 billion in 2020. So we know this, that at the same time that we have problems going on with the ruble and with Russia, they are certainly extending their hand out and saying, hey, China, let's do business. All right. Now, I want to cover this last but not least. Very important information, just understanding the ripple effect as it relates to the stock market, okay? So what I'm showing you here is China's $1.9 trillion stock rout has no end in sight. Index of US listed Chinese stocks has fallen almost 70%. What we are seeing right here, and I have some charts to show you, please understand, we're basically a couple days away from this being worse than the financial crisis when we look at this index specifically. Take a look. Can you see that? I hope so. Right above my head right here, that's where we are today. Okay. All right. Topping off, this particular index, HXC, is the ticker. Okay. And I'm not telling anybody to buy it or short it or anything. We're down 70% from the highs. It was at almost 21,000. This was back in 2021. Today, 58. Let's say 5,800. Look at that. Down, down, down. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Oh, it's coming up. Oh, it's down again. Buy the dip. It's coming down again. Look at what has happened just in this short period of time. Come on, everybody. Look at that. Down 20% in a week. 20% in a week. This is mass weakness. And what we saw the last time the markets really tanked down, it was the Chinese tech stocks first, and then the US tech stocks came after. Will that pattern repeat? I don't know. Just to give you an idea of what's in that basket, it's Baidu, it's Alibaba, and all the names you're used to, okay? Look at the real estate sector in China. You thought, oh, Evergrande, nothing happened there. It defaulted, just to be clear, and you could see all of these other stocks. Country Garden down 24%, Sunac, which is considered to be, the best, healthiest of all of them, down 26%. Okay, and others down much, much worse. Then you see this. I needed to mention this. I am not in any way suggesting that, I'm not suggesting anything, but I wanted to mention this just like I did at the beginning. You got to know about it. I think it's wise to know about anything that happens with Taiwan, anything at all. Right now, this particular, this is the 8th biggest retailer in the world. I don't know how to pronounce it. Carrefour. There's a warehouse in Taiwan, fire and smoke spreading into the sky. Okay? It's saying it's not going to affect the operations. It's all good. Now you might think, hey, it's a fire. Okay, it happens. It does happen. Like I said, I'm not suggesting that, okay, suddenly, China's attacking or anything. I'm not saying that. They do have some images in here. I just want to show you how severe this is. If I got a couple in here, if you could see that, I'll zoom out. Like, this is a massive fire. Okay? And this right here, look at that. That's huge. That's huge. So obviously, there's just, the tensions are high. I don't think China's going to do anything to Taiwan right now. I really don't. I think they want to. I think they want to reunify or unify or take it over, whatever word you want to use, depending on, I'm not even going to go there. What I'm saying is keep your eyes on China, the stock market, the real estate, as well as Taiwan. And then, of course, the link to Russia, because the world is looking at China. We're watching you. We're watching you. Watch what you do. You could be friendly to them. We're going to put sanctions on you. All of that is extremely important at this time in which, globally, it looks like heading towards recession. Recession. That's what happens when you record at 2 a.m. Recession. Watch very carefully. Watch what's going on with the food supply, as well as China's involvement there. All big news. That's it. If you appreciate the information, hit that thumbs up button. I want to thank you for that. Thank you for supporting me. I love all those comments, the positive comments. Thank you very much. If you're not subscribed already, you got to do so. 280,000 people on this channel, all united around one thing, the truth. So, thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one.